Previously on Sailing Avocet. While quarantined in the boatyard, we kept ourselves busy with sanding the bottom of the boat, fiberglassing our new deck-to-hull joint, and starting our osmosis treatment, which is when we discovered our potentially keel-compromising surprise.
We had just gotten in the groove of things here in the boatyard when we were delayed by foul weather and learned that our material shipments, like all of our epoxy, were late due to the virus.
In this video, we're picking up right where we left off, making the most out of our situation until our luck improves. Today I am working on the lazarettes. Chris has always hated the paint that's failing inside of them, so he grinded out everything that was bad. We vacuumed it up, took acetone to get rid of all the dust, and now I'm getting ready to paint. So yesterday we were working in here and I glassed some things since right here where the rudder post is, this was all sloppy glass work around it. So we did a layer of 1708. You can see we did 1, 2, 3 pieces and glassed it all in and made it look nice, and it's super strong, so we're all set. While Chris is down working on reinstalling the prop shaft, I will be in here trying to paint and not lose too many brain cells. Okay, I can do this. I can do this. Oh, oh.
God.
This isn't very fun. This kind of sucks. Oh, this is not a place to be if you're claustrophobic. Oh my god, get me out.
So today we are knocking out jobs that we can do while we don't have any epoxy. Our shipment comes in on Monday, so we can't be doing blister repair and other stuff like that right now. One of those jobs is making new studs to hold our boot to the bottom of the skeg. I really liked the way that this came out. This is what was already in there originally. And I really liked the way this worked because it didn't fight me at all. I drilled one side and I punched it all the way through, and that was it. Now this was pretty foreign to me, but after taking it off and having it go so smoothly, I figured there's no reason to reinvent the wheel when this works so well. So after some little bit of thought in how to do this the right way, all I had to do really was get the same measurement as the old studs, buy some rods. This is silicon bronze. It's incredibly strong stuff. It's perfect for the underwater environment. After getting my lengths, I basically just pounded away on one side, getting it ready to reinstall the boot. When we get the boot back on, I'm going to either have to figure out how to clamp one side so we can hit it against the other, or we're going to have 2 people at the same time hammering away. So either way, it's going to be pretty funny to see. Haven't really figured out how to do it yet, but again, that's a future us problem. Alright, well, welcome to our now very beautiful and white, clean lazarettes. I'm inside of the lazarettes, about to install our rudder packing gland. Here is the actual gland here. This guy gets slotted into, remember that bushing I was having made? Well, it just got done, and that bushing gets threaded up inside of here, and therefore it gets threaded up into the actual assembly. The whole assembly is kind of one big thing, which I really like. It's a really cool system. So this is how it goes on, just like that. And it'll go obviously all the way down. I'm just gonna put some last ticket items on here. I'm gonna put some tough gel on these threads. For our bedding of our through holes, just using some Sikaflex. We're on the other side of the boat now. With the top of the packing gland is what you saw us install yesterday. This is the bottom half, and this is that collar I was talking about with the bushing in the middle of it. So I just had a friend of mine put a new piece of Delrin in there. It is perfectly milled, absolutely perfect for the shaft thickness at 1.5 inches. So now before we reinstall the rudder, I'm just installing this back up in here. Okay, well, it is much later in the month since we last talked about this problem. Over the course of a few weeks, we've let this thing dry out, and it is 100% dry, at least in this area. Like I said, when we first found this, we drilled all over the place trying to find dry, and we found dry, so this is most likely our only problem. We could have gone as far as taking all this out, you know, redoing everything, but that was kind of a large project for what we wanted to do. So this is a good kind of way to fix it. We let it all dry out. I got some closed cell foam and got it really far up inside there, just to have something as a backing. Now I've got some really thick epoxy, and we are just saying goodbye to Big Bertha. It's been a long, fun journey. Today's kind of an exciting day. We are getting moved to shoot our boat. Now we're not totally ready yet, but we can't shoot here because we're too close to the highway. So we're going to take advantage of this as always and reinstall the rudder. That way I can take my time putting the shoe, pick that back together the way I want to. I'm also going to take my time on the inside of the boat and put all the bushings and everything in there all nice and beautiful. So anyway, so we have to take all the scaffolding down and put it back up, and it's kind of a process, but it is exciting that we are going places, literally.
Once the boatyard moved Avocet to her new spot, we were able to reinstall the rudder and fasten the boot to the skeg using the rivets Chris had created.
Okay, easy part's over. I got them through. Now it's time to pound these guys and do kind of what I did over here on this side, but also not let them go through that way, if that makes sense. I don't want to pound them back out. I want to mushroom these heads. That was the last one. It's done. Pull this massive thing off now. This was not easy. I'm not gonna lie. Chips, but not bad. Ooh. That is a nice bushing. Crap.
I am sanding our filigree and our shear line. It is a very slow process since I have to do it by hand and my hand keeps cramping up. Very exciting stuff.
It looks good though.
Honey, really? Ah!
So the sad state of our tow rail is that it's done. There's no fixing it. The problem that we're having is that all of these fasteners that are holding actual tow rail down, it's been sanded so many times that the fasteners are starting to show through on the other side. So as much as we would love to reuse this teak, we really can't. It's kind of lasted as long as it has, and this is the way it's going to go. I'm about to do something that I don't really want to do. Oh God! Traditionally on most boats you'll see wood on the side of the boat, and that's a tow rail. Well, a bulwark is very similar, although you, instead of drilling down through the wood and into the deck, you don't do that at all, and you basically through bolt the wood to these little bases. For us, they're going to be at every single stanchion base, so 16 of them. With this whole mentality, it does two things. One, you don't have any more holes in your decks, so a lot less leaking problems, especially for us, that was a big deal. And two, water, as soon as it gets on the boat, it goes straight off the boat because there's about a ½ inch gap in between the deck and the wood. Anyways, I made this jig right here to use a router to inlay out, these 1/4 inch pieces of brass into the deck. That's it. Bottom plate's done. That's it. There's no more.
Once we finished fairing the topsides, we were finally able to roll on our first coat of barrier paint that acted as a base for the awlgrip high-build primer that we applied after. Due to the polyester resin that was used in the layup of Avocet, we are prone to blisters. The topsides get submerged frequently when sailing and at anchor, which can lead to blisters creeping up the hull. To prevent this issue, we raised our waterline 3 inches and applied barrier paint before spraying our awlgrip top coat.
We decided on this method after researching and receiving recommendations on how to get the best outcome from our paint. This type of weather is extremely frustrating. I mean, all day today we've been wanting to put primer on, but all day today it'll be perfectly sunny in 5 minutes, and then in another 5 minutes it'll downpour. So it just makes putting primer on impossible. So we are just really, I'm at least very frustrated. So I learned a new trick on how to do water lines correctly and how to find and fix lumps or high spots or dips. I put down this water line and I could see far away that it had a little bit of a dip right around here. So I brought some more blue tape and I put it on right here, right on the line, and I brought way over here and put it right on the top line again. And then when you stick it down, you can see here there's a white line in the middle of it, and that was exactly the dip that I was seeing. So now I'm just going to take some more of the correct size tape. We're doing this in a lot of wind, which is just perfect. Can't seem to win with the weather lately. So now I'm just going to put this, yep, there it is. Falling on the scaffolding. And that happens. I'm not frustrated at all. So now I'm just going to match or take away that white little stripe on the inside. And then when I take off the blue top, it should be perfectly flat. Yesterday I was struggling to get this right. I just could not figure out a good way to get a perfectly flat waterline. And the painter here, his name's Dale, and also Johnny, they both gave me some tips. This is one of them that to help me achieve a much better waterline. That takes 30 years to get it really down, but I don't have that kind of time right now. So now I take that off, and it's okay. You basically have to do that again and again and again and again and again until it looks right. So this looks a little bit high, like right here in the beginning.
Rolling the primer meant that we had to sand the topsides to perfection, not once, not twice, but 3 times, all by hand, which led to the longest 36 hours of Christopher's life. It is around 10 p.m. on a Monday night, and Chris is still sanding. He sent me home since I have work in the morning very early and refused to let me do anything. So he's still sanding, but I brought him some dinner because he needed it. And now I'm going to go home, and he's going to keep sanding until his fingers fall off.
What's tomorrow?
Tomorrow we get to paint, which is why Chris is freaking out, because his big brother scared the crap out of him, saying that any imperfection is going to be the end of the world. Thanks, John.
The transom is 100% done, meaning it's 320 grit sanded and it looks nice. You can see we have a lot of burn throughs on our primer, and I've been struggling so hard with getting the orange peel out of a rolled primer. So in another time we would ever do this, I would have the primer shot and we would have probably a lot less sanding and a lot better outcome, but it's going to be a cruising boat, and I'm having a hard time grappling with the fact that it won't be perfect, but it will be a cruising boat, and we will use it and sail it, and it's just going to be what it is. I'm sure it'll be beautiful. It's going to be way better than it was. And anyways, tonight's the last night. I really need to get this thing done. Both sides have been longboarded to 180, and now I'm going to go back with some 220, and then after that I'm going to go to 320. Be around midnight to 1 to 2 maybe that I'll be getting done tonight. So I better get to it.
Good morning.
Good morning. Afternoon, good day. I don't know what time it is. No, I know what time it is, but I don't know how many hours I've been up. All night, literally all night. Sanded the whole thing down. It's looking pretty good. We have some issues, meaning that in a perfect world we could have shot the primer and I could have left the primer untouched and we would have like the best bond for our awlgrip. But I can't afford that, so I've been rolling all of our primer, which means I have to sand all of our primer. So you'll see in areas where it's back down to white, and especially where it's back down to black. The black is fiberglass. So in time, those areas will fail. There's just no way, to not do that. So, but it's a cruising boat. In 5 years from now, who knows where we could be? We could be in Mexico and get it, redone for cheap. So, anyways, we're pretty stoked. It's gonna look great. It's gonna be great. Maybe later on down the line, we have some more money. We can spend a little more time at it. Things are getting so crazy that I just want to get back in the water, and yeah, it's the best that we can do at the moment. That's what I'm gonna say.
He put all of his effort into it to make sure it looks perfect. Nothing is ever going to be perfect in the eyes of Chris Neely, but I told him that he needs to look at it like me. I'm flawed and he still loves me.
You don't have any flaws, dude.
I am still masking things off. The painter actually had a great suggestion. He said that we should use foil to cover rigging and things like that.
Johnny, can you tell me what's at stake here?
The entire job.
Why is that?
I'll tell you what, that shit ain't gonna happen on our watch. It's gonna make it.
Avocet.